Hello and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Matt, and you're watching IHMN550 Last Assignment. My research focuses on necessary skills for front staff employees in the post-COVID era in luxury hotels. And here I want to use this opportunity to briefly thank Dr. Rebecca Wilson-Mah for all the advices and help that she has given me for the last 3 months. The research focuses mainly on the changes to the vital characteristics and competencies that the front staff employees in luxury hotels must possess to create a long-lasting experience for their guests. The reason for such a research is that people's habits and preferences might have changed when staying in a hotel due to COVID, and it is crucial for hoteliers and the front staff employees as well to understand the factors that can help them meet and exceed the customer expectations in creating memorable experiences in the post-COVID era. I believe this research can also be a big help to the tourism and hospitality students who are interested in making a career in the hotel industry, as it allows them to get more familiar with the latest hotel trends. The idea was to approach people who have recently stayed in 5-star luxury hotels during the last 6 months to ask about their experiences regarding their interaction with the front staff and how things were different compared to the pre-COVID era. I interviewed 2 people from within Canada who have stayed in 5-star hotels in Montreal and Vancouver. For this study, a qualitative method was chosen through a semi-structured interview. I used the phenomenological approach, which I think suits this study best due to the nature of research, which needs clear explanations of feelings and understanding of the guests to get a better sense of what they think in their mind are the most crucial and appropriate attributes for the front staff to possess, and what are the effects of COVID on this in their opinion. The phenomenological method is a type of qualitative research that focuses on the experiential, lived elements of a construct, that is, how the phenomena is experienced at the moment it occurs, rather than what is thought about it or the meaning given to it later. According to Marshall and Rossman 2006, this method focuses on the deep lived meanings that events have for individuals, assuming that these meanings guide actions and interactions. This method was deemed to be helpful in disclosing the participants' consumer experience tales and allowing them to share thoughtful insights about the significance of their encounters. Because of the exploratory character of this study, a semi-structured interview methodology was chosen as the primary data collecting method, as that allowed for comprehensive accounts of customer experiences as well as creative ideas to come out of the interviews. To best prepare myself for this research and interviews, I used course materials and sage publications to gain more knowledge and perspective regarding the research design, watched YouTube videos to have a better understanding of how to execute interviews and move it in the right direction. I also used Royal Road's online library to access articles regarding the subject that I have chosen to research for. The interview's flexible and casual format allowed for new and startling viewpoints to emerge. To urge participants to explore the issue on a more emotional level, probing follow-up questions such as why is it important to you were utilized. This method allowed me to capture and describe personally meaningful events in the respondents' own words, making inductive analysis much easier. The goal of the interview was to learn about hotel guests' perceptions of their experiences, such as interacting with front desk staff in hotels after checking in, and to determine what factors exceeded their expectations, what disappointed them, and what attributes and attitudes could be added to improve the services in front of staff employees. Only people who have recently been in luxury hotels, upscale establishments, were included in the study, which utilized the purposeful sampling method. But why luxury hotels? Well, the luxury hotel category was chosen because of its special focus on the human elements and attributes, as well as its attention to details. A luxury hotel is classified as a premium 5-star full-service hotel for the context of this research. To follow the ethical rules, I contacted the 2 people who were chosen through email and sent them the consent form first in order to acquire a participation agreement. Also, on the body of the email that I sent them, I gave them a little explanation about the purpose of the research and how their participation in the study can help me achieving my research goal. They read, signed, and returned the consent form, meaning they agreed to participate in the interviews. I used many academic references as the guiding search, but among all, some of them were very helpful, such as Walls et al. 2011, where they assess the guests' experiences who have stayed in a luxury hotel in terms of physical elements and human interactions. The study uses the interview as the main data collection method. However, the interviews are in depth, which is not the case for my research. The article have great information in terms of procedure and how to conduct the interviews, which can be used in bigger scale researches. It also gives great tips on how to manage and direct interviews. Oma Sutton and Park 2017 article helped me as it also was solely focused on the interaction of guests with the front staff and what is essential for a staff to possess when facing dissatisfied guests. It was shown that the empathic dimension plays a big role for front staff to overcome the problem of guests who are not pleased with the services and overall with guest experiences as well. The last article that helped me a lot is for Brunner Spredin and Peters 2009. They emphasize that hotel guests are not expecting professional experiences alone anymore, but also they need satisfying experiences, and the real ones who can make a big difference in these aspects are the front staff employees. The article uses different methods of data collection, both qualitative and quantitative. Well, now let's get to the interviews. Each interview was done by asking 4 main questions from the interviewees as below. What are the main features in front staff that matters to you most? The second question was, have your approach towards these features changed after COVID? If yes, in what way? The third question was, what is more significant for front desk agent to possess from your point of view? Cultural intelligence, emotional intelligence, appearance, and why? The fourth one was, would the type of trip, leisure or business matters in how you are treated by the front staff in a hotel? Are your expectations different in each of those trips while interacting with the front staff? The questions were sent in advance to the interviewees so that they can be more prepared for the interview. Out of the follow-up questions and other questions that happened in the middle of the interview, there were 2 questions that I believe were more significant in terms of helping me to get terms and codes out of the answers. This just came to my mind in the middle of the interview as a result of the direction that the interviews were going. The questions are as below. Are the expectations that you have from the front staff based on prior experiences with any specific brand, or do they originate from default expectations that you usually anticipate from a standard 5-star hotel? The other question was, do you expect the characteristics of the front staff be something standardized and stable in every 5-star hotel that you check in, or do you believe the more luxury the hotel is, the better the quality of your interaction and experience should be with the front staff employee? At the beginning of each interview, I informed the interviewees that the interview is being recorded, and they agreed. The first interview that I had was not as perfect as I was expecting. However, it brought some other useful aspects that I didn't notice before. It can be used in other researches. The interview gave me some vague or too broad responses and didn't reply with the exact answer that I was looking for. I used some follow-up questions to get a more clear answer regarding the questions that I was asking, but I had to ask many more questions to make more clarification for myself and my research. With this interview, it seemed like more than 4 questions because the person talked more generally and mostly about other factors that were not related to front staff attributes in hotels. So in the return, I had to make another question to get a better response to my question. The second interview was exactly what I was hoping for. A straight, definite and helpful answers that resulted in almost only 1 follow-up question. It was obvious that the interviewee had spent a good amount of time to think about the questions beforehand and answered me in an organized way. This was so helpful and also time saving, as my second interview almost took 18 minutes, with a more fruitful outcome compared to the first interview, which took me almost 24 minutes, with less desired result. I used the Otter app to record the transcripts during the interview, which was very helpful later in the process. It helped with the process of coding and bringing out the best themes from each interview, as it gives you the capability to have the exact conversation afterward. Thematic analysis PowerPoint that was in the course materials also was a big help in learning more about themes and coding. I read each transcript about 6 times with a lot of attention to be able to extract the themes and codes. Colazzi's 1978 phenomenological approach was used to evaluate the transcripts of the participants. I read all transcripts multiple times to get a general sense of them. Significant phrases or lines from the transcript that relate to lived hotel visitor experiences were recognized. I combined themes and meanings together. It allowed common themes to emerge throughout participants' transcripts. These topics were then woven into a true and comprehensive account of the luxury visitor interactions with the front staff. Through the interview, I found out that the interview process gives you the flexibility to talk to your interviewee, and if there is a part that is unclear for both parties, you both have the chance to ask for more clarification. Moreover, interview is helpful because some other questions might pop up from the answers while having the interview, which I was not expecting or anticipating at the first place, but somehow helped me in the direction of the research. Another merit of the interview is that aspects which might have stayed hidden without an interview were discovered. Some of these are the effect of the different price that you pay for 2 different types of the room at the same hotel on your perspective regarding the services that you receive from the hotel and professionalism of the employees. One other point was that the length of a stay could also play a role in changing the factors that comes to your mind in the first place. The second interviewee stated that the more she stayed at the hotel each day, her ideas shaped more, and some of her opinions were changed after the first 3 days, as she was also getting more insight about why some things are the way they are. Another important point that I found out through interview is that some parts of the answers from the 2 interviewees that I had were very similar with a slightly different wording. I also understood how crucial it is to be a good interviewer and ask the pop-up question at the right time, when to intervene, and how to be a good listener as well. These are all important skills that an interviewer must possess to get a better result out of each interview. For my own future reference, I would definitely try to be less formal with my interviewees to give them a more comfortable feeling so that they can express themselves better. Also, if some sort of the same study is going to be executed in a bigger scale in the future, I believe that a specific and professional framework needs to be defined and implemented in terms of how to choose participants in terms of their age, gender, and the length of their stay in the hotel, as each factor can have varied effects on the result of the study. Also, I believe it would be very helpful to have 2 more people who are familiar with the research design process and are knowledgeable about tourism field. They can help me with a separate evaluation of the interviews to comment on the themes and codes and also review the process as well. Thank you for listening to my presentation.